Welcome back, it's day 3. Now, a bit of a late start today, we had some errands to run this morning, so I'm just going to get cracking on that engine mount. So these have come out pretty decent, I think. There's some bits of crap in the paint, but that's not really an issue. Got good coverage, should keep the rust at bay for a little while at least. So now I've just got to install the poly mount. First up, just going to put things back together. There was this bolt in here, and there's this rubber bit that goes on here. Not really sure what it's for, but it exists. So now for the actual mount. I don't know how well those will fit, because obviously there's a few layers of paint in there now, but hopefully, yeah, that seems to slot in quite nicely. So, give it a bit of lube. Always got to lube before penetration. My understanding is this stuff is just to stop it squeaking as it moves, so just going to apply it anywhere that's in contact with the metal. And that just slots in there. Into the next one. Lube the tube. Right, and that one just slots in there. Finally, just make sure it all fits. Perfect. Now, I'm not actually going to put this back together now, because I'm going to put this bit back on the car, and then this bit will mount to the engine, and then I'll join them together once the engine goes back in the car. So that's done for now. Nice to be able to check something off so early in the day. So in the engine bay where that mount attaches, it's quite rusty, well, not quite rusty, there's some surface rust behind that where it hasn't received like the undercoat, so I'm going to clean that up and give it a spray before putting the mount back on. It's a little cramped in here, so bear with me. Going to remove this coolant hose just to give me easier access to painting this area. I'm also going to mask it up obviously, but plus I'm replacing all these coolant hoses anyway, so. Next up, just going to try and give this subframe a bit of a clean. Well, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, I'd heard the Karcher pressure washers could run off a butt, but never really believed it. Seemed to get full pressure just from that little water butt there, so not bad. Next up for the pressure washer treatment is the gearbox. I've tried to cover anything that could get affected by the water, like the input shaft. It's got bin bags stuffed right into both the outputs, and any electricals are taped up, so hopefully it should be good to go. Well, the gearbox didn't quite clean up as well as the subframe, but I suspect that's because while the subframe was covered in dirt, gearbox is covered in oil, but I got most of the crap off. So that's good enough. Let's leave it to dry, ready to go in. So one of the items on the big list is just loom, and it sounds much worse than it is. All it is this bundle of wires here. The sheathing, whatever you call that, has split and all the wires looking a bit spaghetti-esque, so just want to tidy this up a bit. think that's looking much better now. I've not done this very end bit because there's kind of a hole here where some of the wires come out, and until I get it back in the car, I'm not sure which ones come out there and which ones go through to the end, but I will tidy that up later. So about the oil pan, which is currently in this bag that yesterday I tried to sort of flush out with some oil, suddenly occurred to me something like kerosene or diesel would be so much better for that. I don't have any here, so I can't do it yet, but I will try that. And I think that also could work for getting that gasket off the oil pump as well. So as a plan for tomorrow at least, I just wanted to say that in case people were shouting at the screen, why are you using oil? Use something better, you idiot. I am an idiot, but it occurred to me eventually. So as today's been a bit of a cleaning day, I'm going to continue that trend and finally clean out this engine bay. Now I know someone in the comments once asked for us to blow this all out with compressed air, so happy to oblige if, 6 months after you asked. This is for you, whoever you are. Well, that actually worked a lot better than I expected. Got rid of all the leaves and bits of crap pretty much. Don't think I'm going to bother actually cleaning all the dirt off this until the engine's in, and I'll give the engine bay a good detail then, so that's another one done. So I just cleaned the crap off the bottom of the oil pump, didn't bother filming it, it's the same process as cleaning it from the oil pan. Next up, I just remembered one of the oil pan is a bunch of bolts and 2 studs. One of the studs came out of the engine block as opposed to staying in. Of course, the idea is you have 2 studs to align the oil pan when you put it back on. So I need to remove that nut and put this stud back in the engine block. So first up, I'm going to put 2 nuts on the bolt, on the stud, whatever you want to call it, so that I'll be able to hold it in place. Next up, I'm going to clean all the old gasket off the engine block, but I'm not going to bother filming it as it'll be exactly the same as when I did the oil pan, and it'll be awkward to film because I'll be upside down. So that's the engine bay, or the old gasket cleaned off. It was in some ways easier because I didn't have to worry about stuff getting in, it just fell down, but it was hard on my neck and my back doing it, but at least it's done. So now I just need to put that stud back in. Conveniently, when I removed the oil pan bolts, I arranged them in this bit of cardboard so I knew where they all came from. So I know that the stud should be in that hole there. The third one along, so this one here. Done. So that's it for today. I feel today was a better day than previous ones. Got to check quite a lot off the list and clean a whole bunch of crap, which is always satisfying. I would have liked to have reinstalled the engine mount that I rebuilt, but I don't have the torque specs or bolts to hand, so there's no point in doing that now. I'll get that done tomorrow. Other than that, tomorrow I'm really going to be tackling that oil pump, hopefully get it sorted and start putting the engine back together. The plan is, if I can get the engine and gearbox together and ready to go into the car by the end of Thursday, I think Friday and Saturday should be enough time to get it all back together and try starting it. That's my goal. And I just remembered I meant to put the battery on a tender today and completely forgot, so remind me to do that tomorrow, which won't work unless you have a time machine. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks to our patrons, see you tomorrow.